The Oasis Podcast Live is back. We are coming to Manchester on the 11th of December, FAC 251, featuring the Oasis tribute band, Oasis Supernova, YouTube sensation James Hargreaves debuting his new band, plus special guests, exhibitions, competitions and more. Get your tickets right now, eventbrite.co.uk, or hit the link in the description below.
Alright, it's Liam. I want to thank everyone at the Oasis Podcast. As you were.
All right, welcome back to the Oasis Podcast. My good friend Joel, how you doing, man?
I'm good. It's been a while.
It has been a long time, hasn't it? It's been probably the longest gap of not having you on the pod for a long time, actually.
Wasn't the last one the Big in India discussion about Take Me and Sad Song?
Yeah, and it is big in India. That's I haven't talked about this on here. It's like us discussing Sad Song and Take Me is the most popular episode in the history of the podcast. And like, yes, I'm sure that some people enjoyed it, but it's got like as many views as like Tony McCarroll. And it's like, it just doesn't make sense. And I can see where the views are. And a lot of them are in India, which isn't one of my biggest markets. So I think you've set up a Twitter farm in a click farm in India on it just to sort of big yourself up. But you're denying this. So anyway, it's good to have you back, Joel, and today and one of the reasons I've got you back is no one else from the thousands of listeners and the hundreds of people that contribute to this podcast have got anything to say about eyeball tickler, and so I've had to like call him my oldest best mate.
Yeah, it can be relied upon to come up with some random nonsense about an obscure Oasis B-side, although less so about the later stuff, actually. I do remember Eyeball Tickler from the time because it was a B-side to Lila.
Yeah.
If I got that wrong, it demonstrates that actually I didn't know anything about it. It was just come on to blag it. And although it's quite upbeat and rocking, and in a way that a lot of the B-sides stopped being. They started being like acoustic and weird and annoying and a bit lo-fi. And that one is almost like Head Shrinker-esque in terms of how it feels, the atmosphere of the song. It's not a classic by any means, and it's not written by Noel. It's not that the magic of Noel writing, Liam singing, but you have got Liam singing, which is, I think, a good thing.
Yeah, so it is an interesting one in that it was a B-side for Lila. So it was a B-side for a number one single, which is a big deal, that is a big deal. But yeah, I'd say it rocks, and it's good to have like a rocky song, because like you said, like a lot of them around that time are like Won't Let You Down or Pass Me Down the Wine or or Sitting Here in Silence on My Own and things like that. They're either written by Liam and a bit weird, or they're written by Noel and a bit weird. And so there wasn't really many classic B-sides around this era. But I think it really, it's one that I do probably listen to more than a lot of them, just because it's just a cool riff, really. It's a song based around a cool riff. There's very little melody in the whole thing, is there? It's just literally that na 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 na. That's it.
The lyrics, something about a monkey eating your brain, isn't it?
Yeah, well, the lyrics are great. I mean, the one thing about the structure of it is it's almost like an experiment in, you know what I mean? It's almost anti-structure, because it doesn't have a verse, a chorus, or whatever. It's just the riff.
The refrain is the bit where Liam's just shouting at progressively higher notes over the down, 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 ah, and then he goes back to singing about a monkey again.
Yeah. So would you say that was a chorus?
Does that only happen once though?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. It doesn't. I mean, you said it doesn't have a classic Oasis song structure. It's like intro, riff, then there's the main sequence of the song, then there's that middle. That's almost like a middle eight, isn't it? And then they go back to the main sequence, and then it finishes. Yeah. And I can't bring to mind how long it is, but I suspect quite a short track, like 2.5 minutes. Is it?
Yeah, it's like 2:47.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, and so let's have a look at the lyrics then, shall we? Listen to the monkey feeding on your brain and feel no pain, no pain. A tired of shocking junkie sucking on your veins, don't get no waste, no waste. A giant running hunchback. I felt it, but never daisies in my way. You don't say. I got my drib drab Velcro mustache. Keeps them all at bay. Get yours today. Oh yeah. Don't squeeze that lover paycheck. Burning up your day. Don't get no love, no love. Double takes for free, man. An empty-handed feast ain't got enough. Get enough. Come on like an eyeball tickler. Get off your knees and smile above, more above. Wah.
Yeah,
and then
those are nonsense, and not in the John Lennon, Lucy in the Sky, I Am a Walrus tradition. It's like the ramblings of a madman.
Yeah, there's no. I love to try and analyze lyrics, but there is literally nothing there. It's just I'll drop in a clip in the episode, but the only interview I can find with him talking about this is with our friend who does the Stage Left podcast, and in that he didn't really say. He just said he kind of likes the lyrics and he likes the way that the syllables work with the music kind of situation.
Because I like that kind of lyric. It's just having fun with it. And I suppose it's because I really used to like the kind of Chuck Berry way of coming at it. Through that, well, they're just perfect. I mean, like, you know, the way the syllables and the phrases are, but then I used to really like the Ramones a hell of a lot. And I used to put the two together of the way... I mean, when I used to think, like chewing out a rhythm on my bubble gum, the sun is out and I want some, could be a Chuck Berry lyric.
Yeah.
And so there's a bit of that, I think, in Hung in a Bag. And I think I get Tarzan in there as well.
Yeah.
And all that. And
Tarzan,
Yeah. I can't remember.
And monkeys and...
But yeah, you know, so it's that kind of...
Because Eyeball Tickler's a bit like that as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. That's why I have that sort of thing of that, making fun with words, I suppose. But... And, you know, hey, man, I'm not one of those to analyse it, but...
So songs like Eyeball Tickler, I mean, Eyeball Tickler to me sounds like the soundtrack to a riot. It's fucking amazing. Do you think when you were writing Oasis, did the music convey a different side to you than you did in previous songs? Like, were you angry at anything? What were you channeling when writing those kind of songs? Because they didn't...
Eyeball Tickler's probably more to do with that, the feel of the riff. Yeah. And just trying to be not angry, kind of just vicious.
Yeah.
And it's a bit daft, I think, as well. Like ding, 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 ding. I don't know. So, I can't even remember the lyrics for Eyeball Tickler, but even just the title.
What does it mean?
I'd have to know what the verses are, but it's probably, I'm thinking, something that gets you off, something amuses you, you know. I don't know. If it tickles your eyeballs, maybe. I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair. It does go with the tune. I mean, when you sit and read it out like poetry, particularly the no pain. It's terrible. But in the context of the song. It's actually quite good.
Yeah, I mean, there's some funny images in here. A giant running hunchback, and then I got my drib drab Velcro mustache. Like,
Get yours today.
I know. I mean, that is got a sort of a definitely like a Beatlesy feel to it. Yeah. So
I mean, yeah. It's a bit of fun. Very forgettable. Appears as soon as it disappears. There's some nice guitar work. It's heavy. It's rocking. Can't argue with that. There's that riff that goes all the way through that I am sure is exactly the same as something else that has yet to fall from the sky into my memory. But there is the guitar riff is incredibly derivative.
Is it the only thing I was thinking it could be is Jet. It's similar to Are You Gonna Be My Girl?
Definitely that sort of thing. And actually, one of the things that I thought listening to that again, it's not a song that I've really gone back to, is it's very of its time in a way that if you think most of the Oasis music that had gone before defined what music at the time sounded like. So later Oasis, and certainly Eyeball Tickler, sounds very much like Gem Archer rather than Noel Gallagher trying to write a Jet song or a 2220s or the Vines, that sort of rocking, bluesy, quite basic guitar and shouty gravel voice vocal that song is. And as I pointed out to you over WhatsApp yesterday, there was an album that I bought in 2003 by a band from America, I think Atlanta, called The Hiss, who had toured with Oasis at the end of 2003. And the first track on their album, which presumably was the first single, because that's how it always used to be, was a song called Clever Kicks. And you listen, and the album cover of that is like sort of quite surrealist, but then in the middle of the page is a massive eyeball. And I'd always thought, it dawned on me that I think Clever Kick sounds like Eyeball Tickler. But maybe it's just because I'm thinking of the massive eyeball on the front of the album cover. But then I went back and listened to it yesterday. It's like the 18,353rd listen this song has ever had on Spotify. And lo and behold, it does actually sound passably like Eyeball Tickler. But that album was released in 2003, would have been their big single in relative terms. They supported Oasis. Oasis released an album in 2005 and did a load of demos in 2005, one of which is Eyeball Tickler. So I would posit, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, that could well have been an influence.
Guess who produced the Hisses album?
Was it Owen Morris by any
Owen
chance?
Morris. So, yeah, I think it's definitely like another part that comes up in that interview with Gem and Chris from Stage Left is that he mentions that on the bus at the time they were listening to a lot of different music, Gem and Andy coming into the band. And one of the things he mentions is listening to the Creation. And specifically, they talk about how does it feel to feel, and Andy was like, "We used to play that. Like they actually released it as a single." But I can hear Biff Bang Pow a lot in this.
Yeah, really can. And also that sort of down. That kind of is quite that insistent drum beat. That's quite my generation.
Yeah,
that sort of heavier brick beat sound. The Creation were obviously at the tail end of, and you're right. I listened to Big Bang Pow again after you'd said it, and it's like, oh yeah, I can really hear it there.
Oh man, it was all that kind of banter of, Noel would say, "Have you heard the Creation? How does it feel to feel?" And me going, "No," and then playing it and just going, how the hell have I not heard this in my life? Things like that.
Yeah.
You know, and then Andy going, yeah, Ride used to do this.
Yeah. So it was definitely, I mean, that whole scene, like you said, with the Strokes and then the Vines and Jet and all those bands in that sort of that big wave of the bands that came out following like the White Stripes and the Strokes, I suppose there was that it was that kind of garage rock sound, harkening back to those sort of late 60s bands and like you said, I think Oasis definitely like took that on in a number of tunes, and this is one of them. And then you've got sort of it's definitely there, and I suppose it's like having the players to be able to do it, that sort of more riff based rather than kind of chord based. So there was just more, they were able to do that, whereas they couldn't really do that with the previous lineup.
No. And it's also Gem, whose background wasn't writing definitely maybe Morning Glory. Gem's background was heavy stereo and quite a different sound. And, you've got Liam Gallagher's vocal, which is going to make most things sound as good as they possibly can.
Yeah.
But it's not like Noel came up with it. I mean, he's very capable of that sort of stomp as you just listen to some of the stuff he'd written. And probably still does write. It doesn't tend to play it anymore. And the other piece of interesting trivia, which I remember from a YouTube video that I couldn't find yesterday, which is irritating, so I had to do a side-by-side comparison, is that the third scream is the highest note that Liam sings, certainly in a non-falsetto in his recorded career. And when I said to you, I thought that was the case, you said, what about Fading Out? And I was like, no, that's pretty loud and high as well. And I compared them side by side, and I'm pretty confident they're the same note.
Okay.
So if you stick them both side by side, for the benefit of the listeners, they can be the judge of whether or not my ear is right.
Cool.
But,
well, dear listeners, you'll probably be hearing that right now. To what the people said. So I did the poll on it. 5 out of 5 got 14%, which I thought was quite high. I mean, it's a good tune, it's a rocking tune, but it's not a 5 out of 5, surely. 4 out of 5 got 21%, 3 out of 5 got 40%, and 2 out of 5 got 25%. And a couple of people did say like 1 or 0 in the comments. So, I mean, a 3 out of 5 tune, I think that's fair. Personally, I'd probably put it about there.
Yeah. But this is the point, right? It's, if it had been on one of those 30 albums that I would have bought in 2003, 2004, when I discovered the joy of like Amazon recommendations, just pile them into the basket and get them all for £6, I'd have thought, wow, that's a great track. As I said, I like that album by The Hiss, and I listened through to all of it again today. It was like, there are hooks in all of these songs that I enjoyed, actually. In some cases, they probably had like 1,200 listens since they're posted on Spotify. But if Eyeball Tickler had been on their album, I'd have been like, that's probably the best song on the album.
Right, okay.
But, you're comparing that to the pantheon of music that band put out, and then, unless you just want to give everything 5 out of 5, and you kind of lose the ability to have an opinion at the point that you start doing that, 3 out of 5 is tough for Eyeball Tickler. It's for Oasis, it's a 2 out of 5, 1 out of 5 song.
Yeah. I can't remember how it did when we did our head-to-head sort of knockout tournament. Probably got knocked out pretty early by something, I'd imagine.
We probably laughed at the fact that it was against whatever song it was against and moved on.
Yeah, that's probably the case. All right, let's see what comments we had. Ian Armstrong from Oasis tribute band Oasis Supernova, who will be at our gig on the 11th of December, says, better than Meaning of Soul. I love it. Should have been on the album. Yes, that's something we talk about. Would it have made the album for you? Not for me.
Yeah, no, I agree. But it's not Liam, is it? And that's the reason why they've not. Probably the reason it's not on the album, because it would have been relegating a Liam track.
Yeah, true. But yeah, I mean, you'd have to ditch something off of Don't Believe the Truth Me, Don't Believe the Truth goes, Turn Up the Sun, Mucky Fingers, Lila, Love Like a Bomb, Importance of Being Idle, Meaning of Soul, Guess God Thinks I'm Able, Part of the Queue, Keep the Dream Alive, A Bell Will Ring, Let There Be Love. So yeah, I don't know. It's I don't think it's if I think if it had like a chorus, or if it had like an extra different bit, or it broke down or something, but I just think as it is, it's almost like not finished. You know what I mean? I think it's like a good part of a song, but actually you could, but you know, it's so I think it's as I wouldn't probably drop anything like that for it. So I think probably a B-side is the best place for it.
Yeah. But the reason that you can't have a chorus is that it's already everything is pushed up to 10 right from the start, so you couldn't pay that off. If you think about like constructing a piece of music where the verse builds up and the chorus pays off, where do you pay that off other than by screeching?
Yeah,
pretty much like, you know, smash it nicely into overdrive right from the start, isn't it? I mean, I'm not saying it's brilliant that it's like that, but that is what it's like. There isn't really anywhere that you can take it up to the next level.
Got you. Okay.
Listen to the monkey feeding on your brain and feel no pain, no pain. As I live chunky, sunken on your face, don't get no waste.
We Are DNA says middling Gem penned Don't Believe the Truth B-side. It's fast and loud but pretty garbage. I never could make out the lyrics, but they are worse than I expected. I got my drip drab Velcro mustache, keeps them all at bay. Dan Best, a very high 3. I remember this song being teased as new music coming up. Again, another one of those that should have been on the album and played live. Better than Meaning of Soul. I play this every morning at 5 a.m. on my way to work. Yeah, never played live. You know, Meaning of Soul did get played live. I mean, it would have been a cool little one to stomp about to, I suppose, but other than that,
Meaning of Soul's got a verse in the chorus though, right? You think that it's got the sort of Rice Krispie drumming, and then it goes into the all right into the chorus, and you get like, wow, I'm getting that payoff that I'm looking for at the end of a verse.
Yeah.
Meaning of Soul is a better constructed song.
Yeah. Matt Dare, a big dirty rock and roll banger that would have sounded fierce live. Gem nailing the big Oasis sound. Can't get it to sit on Don't Believe the Truth, so its place as a B-side sits okay. James Freestone, 4 out of 5. The mad sound, mental lyrics, and head shrinker style punk vocals from Liam make it a good combination for me. Yeah, definitely the vocals, like we were saying. He really does. He goes for it. He nails it. That sort of that period. Liam just ripping it a new one, basically. DD says 1 out of 5. It sits there with Little James for me on the I know it exists but never gets played pile. The tune goes nowhere, lyrics are poor, and it simply offers me no feeling, no connection. It's not for me. Sorry, James, you have to waste an episode on this one. Well, that's why I'm linking it in with the big Nebworth news announcement, so it's not just an episode by itself. Matt M. Fortet says it's a 3 from me. It tickles me not. Ryan Harvey, it's a no from me. Probably listened to it once when buying the Lila single, then never again. Boy Named Hugh, good track, I think. Guitars sound great on it. Fletch Lives, Get Out with 5. Wouldn't a 5 be Live Forever? Champagne Supernova territory. Eyeball Ticklers as good as Live Forever, is it? Yeah, whoever put 5, bless you. Morph says, sounds a bit like a BDI type song. Well, this was very much the template for what BDI would end up doing. Much more riff heavy, garage rock based. Sean McLaughlin, pretty weak if honest. Richard Bowes, the last above average B-side, ragged sound and a wired vocal from LG elevates it. Simon Hughes, I like the raw sound, but doesn't really go anywhere. It sits well with me as a B-side, but nothing special. Saying that, it's still better than 99% of the trash in the charts. Well, yeah, obviously. What else we got? Adam Carnell, love it and would have had it over Meaning of Soul on Don't Believe the Truth. Cloudburst, don't think I played it more than once. And Radio said, bang average for Oasis anyway. So yeah, I think that's pretty much confirmed what we said. No one's saying well, we've got someone who plays it every day. Dan Best plays it every day as he walks to work. That's not too bad.
As he puts on his blue Velcro mustache.
Cool, good. All right. Anything else to say on it? I think we've wrung it pretty dry, haven't we?
I think we've done it more than justice, to be honest.
Cool, good. All right. Well, Joel, thank you very much for your time, mate. And yeah, we'll see you again very soon.